And welcome, everyone. A very pleasant good afternoon here live from Gil Cone Field. Game 2 here in this three-team bracket in the USA South number 2 seed side of things. Brevard College, the Tornadoes, hosting in the USA South tournament for the first time in NCAA-era history. It will be the Tornadoes against the Methodist Monarchs, a team that they saw here on this very same field just about a month ago. Tornadoes took 2 out of 3 in that series, which obviously has loomed very large and ultimately gave the Tornadoes home field in this three-team bracket. Methodist coming off the heels just a moment ago of a 14-13 loss at the hands of Pfeiffer that saw 12 hit-by pitches between the two teams. So on the mound for the Tornadoes will be Connor Crosby. First time that we will have seen him in about a month and a half. The lefty is good and ready to go for Coach Victory and company. On the mound for Methodist will be Anthony Sarbanes. We've got the lineups for both teams before we take a break prior to the start of this one, and we'll bring them here right now. Leading off for Methodist is the right fielder, number 8, Jackson Deal. Then it's the catcher, number 5, Hunter Holman. Batting third, it's the first baseman, number 36, Banks Hartman. In the cleanup spot, the shortstop, number 11, Caleb Rogers. Playing second base, number 19, Brandon Mauger. After that, it's number 6, the third baseman, Banks Engel. The left fielder, number 1, Caleb Green. In the 7th spot, behind him, the DH, number 4, Jackson Kuhn, who we could also see pitch at some point in this tournament. And then rounding out the lineup is the center fielder, number 17, Austin Renzel. For the NATOs, the usual suspects, Lucas Granada in left field, Luke Morton at shortstop, number 3, Logan Clark batting third, playing center field, number 15. In the cleanup spot, it's number 26, the first baseman, Cale Ayler. After that, it's Suavemente, third baseman, number 19, Frankie Vasquez. Then the right fielder, number 49, CP Pyle. In the 7th spot, who's been really hot lately, the designated hitter, number 25, Colson Miller, came on late. Batting 8th, it's the catcher, number 6, Kenny Pridmore. And then in the 9th spot, the sophomore second baseman, number 9, Logan Sawyer. On the mound for the Tornadoes will be Connor Crosby, 1-3 with an ERA just over 6.5. For Methodist, Anthony Sarbanes. Sarbanes 4-1 in 10 appearances, 9 starts, and a 4.6 ERA for him. We will be back here in just a moment for the start of this one. Connor Crosby on the bump for the NATOs as they get ready to play their first 2024 USA South tournament game as the number 2 seed in the conference, hosting this side of the bracket. All right, folks, just about ready to go here. Game 1 here for the NATOs in the 2024 USA South Tournament. NATOs taking on the Methodist Monarchs, who fell to the hands of Pfeiffer, the Pfeiffer Falcons, with a come-from-behind victory late, 14-13 over the Monarchs, who now face elimination in their second game. Double elimination style format between these three teams here at Gil Cone Field, with a spot in the championship on the line. And it should be a good one here. We saw the Tornadoes take 2 out of 3 from the Monarchs when they matched up back on April 6th and 7th. It was a doubleheader on the 6th. That saw Jacob Thompson with a complete game shutout in Game 1. The NATO bullpen blew the lead late in Game 2, and the NATOs were able to take the rubber match in Game 3, 12-10. And all set here at Gilcone Field. It'll be Jackson Deal to start things off for Methodist. For Deal, a .333 average in the regular season, was 7th in the conference in runs, with an OPS of .855. He'll be the first batter that Connor Crosby has seen live in over a month. Crosby's last outing was March 23rd at Pfeiffer, where he was relieved by Cameron Cook very early on, and his first pitch misses just outside of Deal. We are underway here at Gilcone Field. The 1-0 from the southpaw. Swung on and fouled down the right side. Pyle has no chance at that one. Count even at 1 apiece. It'll be Deal, Hunter Holman, and Banks Hartman, the first 3 that Crosby sees. Crosby kicks and fires. Breaking ball drops in there for strike 2. From left to right across the infield, Frankie Vasquez, Luke Morton, Logan Sawyer, and Cale Ayler. Kenny Pridmore behind the dish doing the catching for Crosby, who's ahead 1-2 here. Connor, the pitch is sent back into right center field for a base hit. Could be extra bases here. Pyle cuts it off, rounding first and stopping is Deal. So a leadoff single for him. Deal sends one into right center to start this one off, so Crosby will have to deal with some early traffic as he faces Hunter Holman here. Holman, first team USA South, an OPS over 1, couple of home runs, was 9th in the conference in batting average, tied for 7th in hits as he takes outside in the right-handed batter's box 1-0. Holman, a .381 average, slugged .517. Crosby, a move over to first. Low throw grab by Ayler. Another look over at first. Now the 1-0. On the outside corner for strike 1. For Connor, did not pitch in that Methodist series. It was Thompson, Altschuler, and Cook, the 3 starters in that one here at Gilcone Field. Another throw over to first. Crosby keeping a close eye on Jackson Deal. And for Methodist, they do run a lot. Actually, top in the conference in stolen bases, 96 for 108. Just under 89% success rate. Showing bunt here is Holman. It's right to Crosby. He'll have one play. It's at first, and he makes it for out number 1. So Holman to the sacrifice bunt to move Deal into scoring position, and it'll bring up Banks Hartman. Hartman, second team USA South. One of 3 guys rather in this Methodist lineup. 3 guys on this team, 2 in the lineup that got all conference honors. Those were released yesterday. Tornadoes had 2 with Vasquez and Ayler. First pitch is on the outside corner here to Hartman, the first baseman for the Monarchs. In the outfield, left to right, it's Granada, Clark, and Pyle. Crosby, a look back at second. The 0-1. In a lefty-lefty matchup, he misses that one low and outside in the dirt. Methodist was 1-8 on the road this season. 1-1. Fouled off down the left side, and Crosby ahead here. Connor, 7 starts for him in his second year as a NATO, an injury-riddled season, similar to the way last season ended for him. Some shoulder problems. 1-3 record in those 7 starts. The 1-2. Breaking ball, chopped on the ground. Sawyer's got it on a hop. He's going to have to throw quickly to first and gets it over for out number 2. Moving up 90 feet is Jackson Deal, and with 2 away, Methodist has a runner on third. It'll be up to Caleb Rogers, the shortstop. Crosby's first pitch is sent on the ground. Vasquez has it, picks it, throws on to first in time, and Connor Crosby throws a scoreless first here, allows the leadoff single, and then locks in. Scoreless as we head to the bottom of the first here in the USA South Tournament. Granada, Morton, and Clark due up when we return. Home half of the first here, USA South Tournament. It'll be Lucas Granada to take the first at-bat for the NATOs of the postseason. Granada, an average just over 300, 304 clip for him, 42 hits on the year. And back when the NATOs and Monarchs faced off on April 6th, Granada went 5 for 5 in Game 1. Hoping to set the tone similarly here against Anthony Sarbanes, who spikes one in the dirt to start his afternoon. Sarbanes 4-1, 10 appearances for him on the year, 9 of those starts. 49 strikeouts to 30 walks, an ERA of 4.6. His 1-0 misses downstairs. Sarbanes did see the NATO lineup earlier this season. 4 1/3, 9 hits, 6 runs in that second game. And he misses low and outside here. 3 straight balls to start Granada off. Methodist did get the victory in that game, but it was not a sharp outing for Sarbanes. It was a late come-from-behind victory for the Monarchs in that one. 3-0 is on the outside corner, and now Granada has a strike. Lucas, an OBP of 404 in the regular season. Sarbanes with a 3-1. Fouled back. Granada might have swung at ball 4 there. After Lucas, it is Luke Morton and Logan Clark. Morton temporarily had been moved down in the lineup, was slumping, but finished the regular season really hot and is back in his normal 2 spot as Granada pokes one foul down the right side to stay alive here. More on Morton when he comes to the plate. Good at bat from Granada here. Another payoff pitch. Is sent foul down the right side once again, out of play. Off the roof of the Methodist bullpen. Lucas in his second year as the everyday left fielder for the NATOs. Another productive season for him. Another payoff. Breaking ball, misses for ball 4, and Granada draws a leadoff walk. Was a close pitch there. Sarbanes might have wanted it, but Granada is headed over to first for Luke Morton. And for Morty, that batting average had dipped down to around the 270s, maybe 260s, heading into that William Peace series where he kind of got hot. The Tornado offense as a whole was not very hot that series, but Morton found his swing again and got his batting average back up to 306 to finish out the regular season. He takes a breaking ball in the outside corner there for strike 1. Morton also reached the 100 career hits mark in the final series of the regular season at Mary Baldwin. The 0-1. Sent in the air. Center field drifting back on it. Renzel, he makes the catch for out number 1. A line out there for Morton, and the first out recorded for Anthony Sarbanes.
Now batting for Tornadoes, the
Now to the plate, Logan Clark. Clark, the everyday three-hole hitter and center fielder for the NATOs, the decorated senior. Possibly his last go-around here at Gilcone Field, depending on whether or not he uses that fifth year of eligibility. Now a breaking ball nearly gets him in the noggin. Ducks out of the way. It's 1-0. Clark, a 2021 Rookie of the Year in the USA South, has the most runs scored in BC history. And he sends a sharp liner into left field. That one's going to drop. Granada will take the turnaround second, and he will take off to third, and he'll get in there with a slide. Clark into second. It's a one-out double. Clark is fired up and hits a little dance at second base. So double there for Clark has the NATOs threatening in inning number 1 for Cale Ayler. Ayler got the all-conference nod yesterday. Second team All-USA South, tied for 4th in the conference in RBIs. He is now the all-time NCAA-era home run leader for the NATOs with 14. 6 of those coming this year with an OPS of 1055. Cale takes low and outside. And the series that the NATOs played the Monarchs in early April, Cale went 4 for 11 in that series with a home run and 5 runs driven in, looking to continue that production and get a couple more ribbies here, at least one if he can get the ball in the air. Runners on second and third with one away. Breaking ball misses way up and outside there, 2-0. And maybe in some other lineups you would want to go ahead and put Cale Ayler aboard here and set up a double play, but not with the guy the NATOs have on deck, Frankie Vasquez. Ayler in the driver's seat here, 2-0 on Sarbanes. That one misses way outside. It's going to get to the backstop. Granada is going to come home. It's 1-0 NATOs. Logan Clark scoots up to third, and the NATOs have a first inning lead. The dugout's fired up. A wild pitch there for Sarbanes. And it plates the first tornado run. Ayler still with an RBI opportunity, ahead 3-0 here with one away. Sarbanes gets Ayler to pop one into left field. Will be deep enough to score Clark. Green underneath it. He makes the catch, and Clark will come home out number 2, but the NATOs score run number 2 on the sacrifice fly from the NATO first baseman. Base is now empty for Frankie Vasquez. Ayler had the green light there on 3-0. It did not pay off, but it did drive across a tornado run. So here's Frankie. First pitch to him is popped up, right side, drifting back. Hartman, does he have room? He does not. Out of play. Ayler and Vasquez both kind of doing Sarbanes some favors on the last couple of pitches. No balls and a strike here to Vasquez. The pitch from Sarbanes, low and outside. Frankie, first team all-conference. 3rd straight year of being on the first team. As a junior, you do the math on that. Dominance from number 19. 1-1 is roped deep down the left field line, but well foul and out of play. Frankie was second in the USA South in RBIs with 52. 6 home runs for him. Frankie might have preferred to face Pfeiffer. We'll get a crack at them tomorrow, though. As the 1-2 misses outside. Frankie in Game 2 against Pfeiffer in that series when the NATOs matched up against the Falcons was 4 for 6 with 11 RBIs in one game. Yes, you heard that correctly, folks. The 2-2 here to Vasquez. Low and outside, and the count runs full. Sarbanes having to work here in this first inning against a really tough tornado lineup. Payoff pitch from the righty. Vasquez pops it up. Left side of the infield. Angle near the NATO dugout. He makes the grab for out number 3. Vasquez pops out, and that'll do it. The NATOs do push 2 across thanks to a wild pitch and a sacrifice fly. It's a 2-0 lead for Connor Crosby as we head to the second. Top of the second, Brandon Mauger to lead things off for Methodist. He was 4 for 4 in game 1 against Pfeiffer. As Crosby greets him with a breaking ball that misses outside. Mauger, a .289 batting average on the year, 43 knocks for him, a couple of homers. The 1-0 swung on and missed there. Game 1 against the Tornadoes, he was really the only Monarch that had success against Jacob Thompson, who allowed 6 hits. 3 of those were to this guy. 3 for 3 in that one. 1-1 misses outside. Hitters count now for the Methodist second baseman. That one misses. 3-1. Crosby obviously still going to have a little bit of rust to knock off. Not saying that's the case right here. Might just be missing his spots. 3-1. In there for strike 2. Crosby's velocity looks pretty good. Movement on his pitches, especially that breaking ball, looks pretty good as well for having not pitched in a month and a half. Payoff pitch from Cros. Swung on and missed. First strikeout of the afternoon for Crosby. Gets Mauger to sit down. So here's Banks Engel. Engel led the USA South in doubles with 16. .319 batting average for him on the season. Shows bunt, pulls back, and takes strike 1 out of the right-handed batter's box. Connor comes home with his 0-1. Misses high and outside. In that game just a little bit ago between Methodist and Pfeiffer, if you missed it in the pregame, had 12 hit by pitches combined between the two sides. An NCAA Division III record. As Crosby misses with the 1-1. Two-one here from Crosby. Popped up. Sky high on the right side. Ayler trying to find room. He will not have any. That one's out of play. Count even at 2. Ayler made a good effort to it, but had to stop at the railing of the Methodist dugout. Crosby trying to put away Engel here. The 2-2 is line base hit into left field. This could be another double. It looks like it will be. Granada picks it up on the track, throws it in, and a stand-up one-out double for Banks Engel, the conference leader in doubles in the regular season. Methodist early on here will have the game-tying run coming to the plate.
Now batting, left fielder number 1,
Crosby gave up the leadoff single to Jackson Deal and then had retired 4 straight Monarchs up until that double just then by Engel, the third baseman. Breaking ball drops in there for a strike to Caleb Green. Green, more of a defensive guy, .252 average, did have 35 hits and a pair of homers this season. Breaking ball misses there. One of those home runs did come against the Tornadoes in Game 3. That Sunday afternoon contest here. Green set one over the wall in left field. Connor, a look back at second. Now the 1-1. On the inside corner for strike 2. Green not sure about it. Top of the second. 2-0 NATOs here with a 1 away. And a runner on second. Banks Engel. The 1-2. Misses outside. Crosby, I think a little bit frustrated with himself on that pitch. Right idea, bad execution. Wanted that outside corner. Went to the way outside corner. In the other batter's box to be exact. Crosby, another look back. Now he fires a 2-2. Breaking ball, soft blooper is going to be caught over the shoulder by Sawyer. Throwback to second is in time, a double play. What a grab over the shoulder by Logan Sawyer. He quickly turned and fired it to Luke Morton. Connor Crosby's excited, and the NATOs hold a 2-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the second. What a defensive play there from the second baseman Sawyer. When we get back, Pyle, Miller, and Pridmore, 2 up for the NATOs. Home half of the second, CP Pyle to get things going for the NATOs their second time around. Got a couple of runs in the first inning off just the one hit, a Logan Clark double. CP had a really good season in his first year as a Tornado, a .347 average. As Sarbanes finds the middle of the zone for strike one. CP had an OPS in the 9s as he sends one in the air to right field. Going back on that one is Deal, but he will have it with room to work with just in front of the warning track. A fly out there for Pyle to start off the second for the NATOs. Now, here's a really interesting guy, Colson Miller. Miller came along really late, and matter of fact, Methodist was the first team Miller really got his shot against this season, and he did not disappoint since coming into the everyday lineup. Miller finished the regular season with a .345 average and the second highest slugging in the USA South as he takes a big hack there and misses. Colson Miller slugged .800 with an OPS of 1213, 7 home runs in a little less than a month of baseball. Takes strike two on the outside corner here, and he's behind. Big power threat in that 7 spot for the NATOs. 0-2. Take there, 1-2. Miller, a .345 average, .413 on base, .800 slugging. 1-2 from Sarbanes is whacked in the air to left field. That one's going to drop for a single. Miller knocks a base hit into left field with one away, and so here's Kenny Pridmore.
Now batting for the Tornadoes, catcher number 6, Kenny Pridmore.
Kenny shared catching duties with Hayden Jennings throughout the season. Went 6 for 10 against Methodist when these two teams matched up. Had a good series. Hoping to continue his success here against Sarbanes versus Methodist pitching. First pitch to the NATO backstop is sent through the left hole. Back-to-back singles. Miller will stop at second. A soft grounder through the 6 hole will do it for the NATOs, who have 2 men aboard here with 1 away. Logan Sawyer stepping to the dish. Sawyer, a sophomore who stepped up, was not starting at the beginning of the year, finished the season as the everyday second baseman, batting just under .300 at .297. He takes the first pitch and sends it back foul. 3 home runs on the year for Sawyer, 30 base hits. Good sophomore campaign for the NATO second baseman. Miller on second, Pridmore over at first. Sarbanes with the 0-1. Showing bunt and pulling back there is Sawyer. It pops out of the mitt of Holman, but no one going anywhere. Not 2 of the faster NATO runners on base right now. Designated hitter and the catcher. Ball on a strike with 1 away and 2 on here in the bottom of the second of a 2-0 game. Sawyer takes it, a strike. Looked a bit outside, but caught the corner just a bit from Sarbanes, and he's now ahead 1-2. Sarbanes, the 1-2. Sawyer sends it back foul and stays alive. NATOs did face off against the Monarchs last year in the USA South Tournament in one of the games that they played. They won 4-0 against the Monarchs in the tourney last season, where they ultimately fell short 15-14 in the decisive game against William Peace. 1-2. Nearly hits Sawyer, gets his elbow out of the way, and the count evens up at 2. One away here in the bottom of the second. If Sawyer can get aboard, it moves the lineup back to the top. Lucas Granada waiting in the wings. 2-2. Skied on the right side of the infield. Drifting to his left is Mauger, and he'll make the catch in shallow right for out number 2. That flips the lineup card back over to Granada, who walked to start the afternoon off for the Tornado offense. Lucas digs in here with a man in scoring position, another right behind him at first. Looking to come through and add to this early NATO lead. The larger the lead, the more comfortable Crosby will be in his first start back in over a month. Granada takes ball 1 there. Runners ready to go on contact. If Granada can find the outfield grass, Miller will likely score. 1-0 swung on and missed there. Big cut on an outside fastball from Granada. Ball on a strike here, 2 away. Sarbanes delivers. Granada on the ground to third, and the throw on to second is in time from Engel over to Mauger. So Sarbanes gets out of the jam, and the lead stays at 2-0 as we head to the top of the third here at Gilcone Field. Top of the third, Connor Crosby cruising along, gave up a leadoff single in the first and then retired the next 3. And in the second, gave up a 1-out double and immediately got a nice double play courtesy of Logan Sawyer and Luke Morton. So he'll start things off in inning number 3 with Jackson Kuhn, the 8-hole hitter, then Austin Renzel before the lineup turns back over to Jackson Deal. Kuhn, a guy in the offense, but we also see him on the mound for Methodist some, including last time Methodist came here. Crosby's first pitch is low and away to him. Kuhn, a .286 hitter, 8 hits on the year. OPS in the 6s. 1-0. Misses there, 2-0. It will be interesting seeing as Crosby has not pitched since March 23rd, how long Coach Victory allows him to go. Probably depends some on the lead, as Crosby finds the zone there. Obviously, the NATO's well rested up in terms of bullpen arms. Don't want to dig into that too quickly, though. That one swung on and missed there. Count back even at 2 here to Jackson Kuhn. Crosby's allowed a pair of hits, but no runs to come across yet. The 2-2. In the dirt, count runs full. Kuhn trying to set the tone here in the top of the third and get aboard as the leadoff man with Renzel behind him. Payoff from Crosby. Got him looking, strike 3. Second strikeout of the afternoon for Connor Crosby. This one's a backwards K. Now one away in the top of the third for Austin Renzel.
Now batting center fielder number 17, Austin Renzel.
Renzel, another guy that's more of a defensive and speed asset for this team. A .240 average in the regular season for him. OPS in the 6s for him as well. 23 base hits as he takes a looping breaking ball for a strike. The vibrant neon pink Miami Vice style bat, the choice of weapon for Renzel. And he sends one on the ground to the right side. Sawyer has it. Throw on to first in time for a quick out number 2. Sawyer's already been pretty busy over there. Seen the ball come to him 3 times in these first 3 frames. Has made the play each time, including the stellar double play to end the second. Now back to the leadoff man, Jackson Deal, who the first time through the order had one of 2 Methodist hits. A single to start things off. Takes a breaking ball for strike 1. Deal 55 hits in the regular season. Oh, as he takes a good pitch there. It's called a ball. Might have been a smidge inside. I think Crosby was asking where that missed at in a polite way. The 1-1. Breaking ball misses there, 2-1. Pridmore liked the idea. Tells Crosby to stick with it. Two-one here from the lefty. Poked at in the air, right field, going back on it. Pyle sets underneath it and makes the grab for out number 3. A 1-2-3 inning for Connor Crosby. He looks pretty comfortable out there. The NATOs lead it 2-0 as we head to the home half of the third. Morton, Clark, and Ayler. Bottom of the third, Luke Morton going to get things going here for the NATOs, holding a 2-0 lead. Got both of those runs back in the first, a scoreless second against Anthony Sarbanes, who's back to work here. Luke lined out to center, got some good contact. Looking to come up with a base hit here to start off the third. That one is going to roll to the backstop. Backhanded pick unsuccessful by Hunter Holman. 1-0. On the outside corner, a ball and a strike here. Sarbanes having to climb the ladder to retrieve that throw from Holman. One, a breaking ball upstairs. So Morty at the plate here. Clark and Ayler behind him. Logan Clark doubled back in the first inning. One of 3 tornado hits. 2-1. Way outside. That one continued to tail away into that left-handed batter's box, and Morton well ahead here, 3-1. 3-1. Swung on and missed. Morton went after ball 4 there. Way in on the hands and a little bit high. Did Sarbanes a favor. Going to try and focus back up here. Morton finished the regular season on a good tear. Payoff pitch is sent in the air to right field. That one is going to drop in front of the right fielder. Deal for a base hit. He didn't get a good read on it. Kind of slowed up and let it bounce in front of him for a leadoff single. Off the bat of Luke Morton. So some traffic on the bases now for Logan Clark, who doubled his first time up.
Now batting for the Tornadoes, center fielder number 15, Logan Clark.
See if Morty wants to run here. Doesn't seem likely. Not one of the bigger base stealers on the team. Natos took a step back in terms of stolen bases this season, aside from the guy at the plate, Logan Clark, who took ball 1 there. Natos were only 5th in the USA South in stolen bases, 52 for 68. Obviously, part of that is losing Blake Burchett, as Clark sends a soft tapper on the ground, going to try and beat it out at first. To second for 1, and the throw is off the line at first. Clark will beat it out. So a fielder's choice takes care of Morton there. Clark was busting it down the line. Would have been a close play.
Now batting for the Tornadoes, first baseman number 26, Kale Ayler.
A 6'4 fielder's choice there. Clark at first now. Morton sent back to the dugout, and here's Kale Ayler. Kale drove in the second tornado run with a sacrifice fly in the first, swinging on a 3-0 count. Clark fakes going there. And Kale takes a strike. Didn't look like a great pitch. The umpire deemed it strike 1, though. Clark pretended to go to second. We'll see if he actually decides to during this sequence. Not there, as Ayler takes a breaking ball for strike 2, and he's behind. Going to have to protect. Bottom of the third, 2-0 Tornadoes. Kale Ayler up with 1 away. Behind 0-2, Logan Clark over at first. The right-hander, Sarbanes, throws back over to first, and Clark's going to get caught up. Throw on to second is going to get Clark there. The tag applied by Rogers, on the tag. 1-3-6 put out. Clark was doing some dancing over there at first. Thought Sarbanes was going to take the pitch at home, and instead turned around, caught Clark lacking. And now the base is empty with 2 away and 2 strikes for Ayler. The 0-2. Sent in the air. Left field, Green camps out under the line drive and makes the grab for out number 3. So the Natos, a couple of good at-bats, but they go down in order. Logan Clark picked off, and it's 2-0 as we head to the top of the 4th here at Gil Cone Field. Top of the fourth here at Gilcone Field. Crosby continuing to deal. He's through 3 innings with just 2 hits allowed. No runs pushed across yet for the Monarchs. He'll be greeted by Hunter Holman. Holman, a first-team USA South selection. In that 2 spot, the catcher for the Monarchs. The lefty takes the inside curveball from the lefty. 1-0. That one sent into the right center field gap. Clark will cut it off, and a leadoff single for Hunter Holman here in the 4th. Holman aboard. Good contact there. 3rd hit for the Monarchs. And another lefty batter to the plate, Banks Hartman. Hartman grounded out to second his first trip. Crosby would love another ground ball from him here. Second straight lefty-lefty matchup to start off the 4th, and he sends that one right back where it came from. Back-to-back singles to start off inning number 4 off of Crosby. Clark comes up firing a wild throw. Pridmore there to retrieve it, so Holman can't go anywhere. Back-to-back hard contact off of Crosby to start off this 4th.
Now batting shortstop number 11, Caleb Rogers.
Caleb Rogers with an opportunity now. He grounded out to 3rd to end the 1st. Only difference on the scoreboard so far is the 2-run tornado first. Otherwise, zeros across the board for both sides, who each have 4 hits apiece. Showing bunt here is Rogers. It goes to Vasquez. His throw on to first is going to pull Ayler off the line, who drops it, and the throw to the plate is in time. Over-aggressive there was Hunter Holman. He gets gunned down to the plate, heads up by Cale Ayler, who dropped the throw from Vasquez. I think that Rogers may have ran into him there, knocked the ball out of his glove. I think Vic wants some kind of interference. Ayler did wheel and gun down Holman at the plate to keep Methodist off the board, and now Mike Victory having a discussion with the home plate umpire. It ends pretty quickly, though. He'll take the out, and it'll be a bunt single and then a 3-2 put out. Runners on the corners now for Methodist. Hartman and Rogers as Crosby throws over at Rogers on first. It's Brandon Mauger at the dish, who struck out swinging to start off the 2nd. He waves and misses at 1 there. Was 4 for 4 in the game against Pfeiffer. Crosby trying to get him to 0-2, 0-4-2 here in the 2nd game as he wheels and throws again to first. Ayler kind of has to lunge for it. Crosby, the most trouble he's ran into so far in this one. That one in the air, center field. Clark to his left. This should be deep enough to score, and it will be. Throw is cut off by Ayler, and Methodist is on the board on the sacrifice fly off the bat of Mauger. Runner on first with 2 away now as Banks Engel steps in.
Now batting third baseman number 6.
Engel doubled in that 2nd inning and then was doubled off by Logan Sawyer after he crept too far off the bag when Sawyer made the over-the-shoulder grab in shallow right center field. Crosby's curveball finds the outside corner there for strike 1. Cros trying to get out of this 4th inning, allowing just the 1 run. That one's off the hands foul, and he's in the driver's seat here, 0-2. 2 away. No balls and 2 strikes. Crosby, a throw over to first. Scooped off the ground by Ayler. Crosby making him work on these pickoff attempts. Can't blame him. It's been a while since he's gotten to try them. The 0-2. In the air, out of play. Engel trying to keep the line moving here in the top of the 4th. 2-1 ball game. NATO's leading And thanks to a 2-run first. The 0-2 again. Misses with a breaking ball there. Crosby tried to get him to go fishing. Did not work, and the count 1-2. Crosby still ahead. That's a pitch to play around with here, per se. With 2 down. Long stare in, now the pitch. Popped up. In foul ground on the right side. Ayler trying to track it, and he will make the catch beside the Methodist bullpen. Kind of overran it a little bit, but was able to stick with it and make the grab for out number 3. Methodist pushes a run across on the double play. Does have a base running gaff. It's 2-1 as we head to the home half of the 4th here at Gil-Cone Field. Bottom of the 4th here at Gil-Cone Field. NATO's leading at 2-1. Methodist cut the lead in half off of a sacrifice fly in the top half of the inning. Frankie Vasquez, C.P. Pyle, and Colson Miller, 3 really good hitters, due up as Frankie takes on the outside for ball 1 from Sarbanes, who has settled in since that 2-run first inning, which was not all entirely his fault, but did deal with some control issues. 1-0 misses low and outside, 2-0. NATO's play really well here at Gil-Cone Field, 12-5 at home on the year. As Frankie sends one fair down the third base line. Vasquez is going to dig around first, and he will get into second, standing up. Green took a long time to retrieve that one over in the left field corner. A leadoff double for Frankie Vasquez. That one looked like it was going to tail foul, and the third base umpire ruled it fair. Said it stayed inside the bag. So Vasquez in scoring position after the leadoff double. Here's C.P. Pyle, who flew out to right his first time. Pitch to Pyle, poked into right field. That one is going to drop. Vasquez coming around third. Huckey's going to wave him home. The throw, no, he's going to hold up. Huckey waved him. Frankie thought better of it, decided not to go. A late hold, actually, from Huckey. You saw him at first waving the arms aggressively. Thought better of it, either him or Frankie, as Deal came up firing there. NATO's didn't want to risk it with nobody out, so they'll have runners on the corners for Colson Miller. Back-to-back base hits. And in the postseason, these kind of situations are where you got to come through. NATO's typically a good team with runners in scoring position. How about a Colson Miller tater? He takes on the outside there, 1-0. And the late surge of Miller has just made this Tornado lineup that much more dangerous. Again, second in the conference in slugging. 7 bombs over really a 3-week span. 1-0, big hack there. Colson had the same idea that I did up here. 1-1. 2-1 ball game, bottom of the 4th here at Gil's Place. Miller takes outside there. The catcher Holman fakes the throw behind C.P. Pyle at first, trying to deke out Frankie Vasquez, who looks pretty disinterested over there. 90 feet away is Vasquez. Sarbanes going to have to do something really good if he wants to avoid giving up any further runs in this fourth inning. A throw over to first. Piles in there with a dive. Two balls and a strike. Hitters count for Miller. That one in on the hands, 3-1. And Sarbanes going to have to come over the plate here to Miller if he doesn't want to load the bases with nobody out. And if you're Miller, you don't want to chase after anything here. Still a pretty selective approach given the situation. The 3-1. Outside, no. That one hit the strike zone somewhere. And the count runs full. Miller was ready to walk over to first. Instead, he'll see a payoff pitch from the right-hander Sarbanes. First, a throw over at CP Pyle. Full count here. Sarbanes comes set, fires, and a swing and a miss there. A big strikeout for Sarbanes gets Miller, who in all fairness probably should have drawn a walk. Instead, it's a big out number one as Kenny Pridmore steps to the dish.
Now batting for the Tornadoes, catcher number 6, Kenny Pridmore.
One away. Pridmore wants to avoid putting one on the ground. First pitch is in there for strike one. If Pridmore can't get a knock, it'll be up to Logan Sawyer. Kenny singled through the left side his first time. The 0-1. Popped up. Right side, Deal chasing after it. It's going to fall in foul ground. Would have been deep enough to score Vasquez, more than likely. Instead, it's a deep strike two, and Pridmore going to have to take a protective approach here. Down 0-2 with one away. Natos got Vasquez aboard on the double, and then the CP Pyle single. After that, Miller struck out swinging, and now Kenny Pridmore in an 0-2 hole, trying to avoid the same fate. Takes one outside. Holman, another fake throw over to first. Frankie Vasquez not buying what he's selling. If nothing else, Holman just trying to make sure everybody's paying attention on the NATO side of things. Sarbanes, another throw over to first. Pyle scurries back in. NATO's the host here on this three-team side of the bracket. Number 2 seed, Methodist, facing elimination in this one. NATO's trying to put them out of their misery. The 1-2 is a breaking ball that misses high and inside, 2-2. If the Tornadoes do indeed get a victory over Methodist here, it turns into a best 2 out of 3 between the Tornadoes and the Pfeiffer Falcons starting tomorrow afternoon. 2-2. Sent in the air, high and deep. Green underneath it, just in front of the track. This will score Vasquez. Frankie comes home, and Green just throws to second to stop CP Pyle from tagging into scoring position. It's 3-1 NATOs off of their second sacrifice fly. Pridmore does a job. And here's Sawyer with 2 away and a runner on first.
Number 9, Logan Sawyer.
Sawyer popped out to second his first time. So NATOs, if nothing else, do get a run across after having runners on the corners with nobody out. Definitely want to get more. As Sawyer takes on the outside corner for strike one. 3 runs, 6 hits for the NATOs. 1 run on 5 hits so far for Methodist as we near the 5th. Throw back behind Pyle. He has to take a big dive back into first. Holman, that time, was legit about going over. 2 away, a ball and a strike. Sawyer takes. That one a bit low, 2-1. Two one. Sawyer sends one foul. Count even at 2 apiece. CP Pyle still over there at first. Has been on the first base bag for quite a few minutes. Sarbanes, another throw over to first. Methodist paying really close attention to Pyle over there. Guy that can run. And then if Sarbanes throws one more ball here, we likely will see him go. He does. The count runs full. And now likely that we do see CP Pyle take off on this next pitch. And if that is the case, if Sawyer can find a gap, good chance the NATOs could score. Sarbanes a look over at first. Payoff pitch. Pyle goes, fouled off. Over to Mike Victory in the dugout. Good hands there. We got some complaints from Coach Huckey. He was mad that we gave him a compliment in the press box. I think he said I described it as the most athletic play I've ever seen him make on a foul ball. Sawyer sends another one. Foul down the right side, and sounded like a compliment to me. Felt like a compliment coming out of my mouth, but Coach Huckey seemed to think that I was underplaying his athleticism. Iowa legend. He did tell me a couple weeks ago in Lifetime Sports about his days back in Iowa playing pickleball. That one sent back foul, and Sawyer battling here. Love to see Coach Huckey on the pickleball court. Maybe like to see him play some basketball too. Pretty big Caitlin Clark fan from what I hear, but who isn't? Another payoff pitch coming here from Sarbanes. Sawyer sends it foul. Got a really good piece of that one, but just a bit ahead of it. Really good battle here. Tenth pitch of the AB coming here to Sawyer. Sarbanes again. That one in the air, right field, but dropping back and making the catch is Jackson Deal for out number 3. A good battle there from Sawyer, but he comes up short. NATOs do push a run across via the Kenny Pridmore sacrifice fly. We head to the 5th, 3-1 Tornadoes. Top of the 5th, Caleb Green step into the box for Methodist. Hit into a double play to end the second. Unorthodox double play. He takes ball 1 here. Hit a little flare off the end of the bat into shallow right center field. Didn't look like Logan Sawyer was going to get there, but he did. Made the over-the-catch grab and then doubled off the runner at second. Green takes strike 1 there from Crosby. Connor gave up 3 hits in the last frame, but just the 1 run. See if he settles in here against the bottom 3 in the order. He misses there, 2-1. Green, Kuhn, and Renzel each 0 for 1. Crosby, another miss there, 3-1. Can't quite bring the breaking ball inside enough. Crosby, 3-1 offering. In there for a strike. Green tried to sell it and walk down to first. Looked like a pretty good pitch, though. That one off the hands, fouled the other way. Payoff pitch from Crosby. Off the hands, foul again. Another payoff pitch from the lefty. Set on the ground. Vasquez picks it up on a nasty hop and throws on to first in time for out number 1. A nice play there from Frankie Vasquez. So the leadoff batter retired. It'll bring Kuhn to the plate. He struck out looking his first time. Crosby's first pitch to Kuhn misses low and inside. (1-0) wave and a miss there. Kuhn way out in front of that one. Another one that Kuhn just can't time up. He's way early on the past 2 pitches, and now Crosby in the driver's seat, 1-2. Kuhn, not a whole lot of experience in the lineup. More of a pitcher. He takes ball 2 there just on the outside corner. Pridmore was ready to throw down to third. Thought they had him. (2-2). Just misses in the exact same spot. Another payoff. That one popped up. Right side, Ayler makes the grab for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down here in the 5th for Connor Crosby.
Now batting center fielder number 17, Austin Renzel.
Here's Renzel, the 9-hole hitter. Grounded out to second. His first trip. Take strike 1 there. NATOs have enjoyed some success against Methodist across all sports. Absolute beatdown in football season. Beat them in the USA South soccer tournament, with Methodist being the number 1 seed as Renzel sends that one out of play. Men's basketball swept Methodist. So across the men's sports at least, NATOs have played really well against the Monarchs as a whole. 0-2 from Crosby. Fouled off in and out of the mid of Pridmore. Would have been strike 3. Couldn't hold on. Crosby trying to get through his 5th inning of work. Sitting at 65 pitches right now. Another 0-2 offering. Almost chased after it down low on the curve. An appeal down to first says that he did not go around. Pridmore might have been just trying to sell that call. Crosby still well in the driver's seat, though, here, 1-2. He kicks and deals. That one poked out to Ayler, picks it up on a hop and takes it to the bag himself. 3 up, 3 down, 5th for Connor Crosby, and the NATOs still holding on to a 3-1 lead as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Granada, Morton, and Clark. Bottom of the 5th, Lucas Granada due up for the 3rd time. He has walked and grounded into a fielder's choice, trying to set the tone here in the bottom of the 5th. Just a little bit over halfway are the Tornadoes and Monarchs. 3-1 lead as it stands right now for the NATOs, who want to add on to that. First pitch to Granada. It's a ball on the inside. Interesting to see both teams wearing the all-whites, although granted, Methodist does have the green undersleeves with theirs. Interesting fashion choices as that one well outside and to the backstop for Sarbanes. He's had a couple of those in this one. Both pitchers as a whole, though, pitching well here in a 3-1 game. Granada chops one on the ground to 3rd, picking up angle. He throws on to first well in time for out number 1. Granada retired for the 2nd time today. I'll bring up Luke Morton. Morty 1 for 2. He lined out to center and singled back in the 3rd. He was then retired on the fielder's choice off the bat of Clark. Morton off the end of the bat there, rolling foul. Sarbanes, just the 1 walk. Crosby, no walks. So good control from these 2 guys for the most part. 3-1 game. Pitchers duel thus far. Low and outside to Morty here, 1-1. Not surprising for Crosby either. In his 7 starts, he had 28 strikeouts to just 6 walks. 1-1 high and inside. So over 4 strikeouts for each free pass that Crosby issues. That's the kind of ratio that any coach is going to like. Two balls and a strike. Morty takes on the outside corner for strike 2. Count evened up here with 1 away and nobody on. Morton taps one out to second. Mauger has it. His throw in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down here for the NATOs, similar to how the start of the 5th went for Methodist. A couple of groundouts for the top 2 hitters in the lineup. And it'll be up to Logan Clark to extend the bottom of the 5th. He's 1 for 2, a double and a fielder's choice on his line. Two away and nobody on for the NATO center fielder, who takes strike 1. The 0-1. Low and outside. 84 pitches for Sarbanes right now. If he can get a quick out of Clark, might be able to squeeze one more inning out of him. That one fouled off. 1-2. Clark behind here. If he gets aboard, it'll be Cale Ayler, who's 0 for 1. Sacrifice fly and a line out. 1-2 from Sarbanes. Clark thought about going after it, held up, and it's 2-2. Two balls, two strikes, and two away. Here's Sarbanes with the pitch. In the air, center field, but it's going to hang up enough for Renzel to make the grab. A 1-2-3 frame for Sarbanes, and we head to inning number 6. 3-1 Tornado lead. It'll be Deal, Holman, and Hartman when we get back. Top of the 6th, Connor Crosby still out there, just 70 pitches. Third time through the order for him. Obviously, the success rates for pitchers across all levels of baseball go down once you see a lineup a third time around, but Crosby looking to not be fazed by that as he drops a breaking ball in there for strike one to Jackson Deal. Deal is 1 for 2. Singled back in the first and flew out to right his last time. Takes strike 2 at the knees there. Methodist dugout does not like the call. Deal, Holman, and Hartman, the top 3 in the order here. Crosby ahead 0-2. He delivers. A breaking ball smoked into left field for a leadoff single. Second base hit of this one for Deal. Granada bobbles it for just a moment, but gets it in before Deal can advance. So 6 hits for the Monarchs now, and 5 of them have been singles. So Crosby, when he has given up contact, has done a good job of not allowing loud contact and not allowing extra base hits. Here's Holman, who takes strike 1 in the outside corner. Holman, a sac bunt and a single on his line so far. Crosby's 0-1. Well outside. Good stop by Pridmore, who spins around there and takes a look at Deal. He's not moving at all. One. And before we get that, Crosby will throw over to first. Taking a look at the other side of the USA South, the other 3-team bracket over in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, hosted by number 1 seed Wesleyan. We'll give you an update on that in just a minute. That 1-1 pitch is going to hit Holman. So for the second time in a row facing the top of the order, Crosby has found himself in some early trouble. A single and a hit by pitch with Banks Hartman coming up, the number 3 hole hitter. Hartman was 8th in the conference in batting average. He was a second-team all-conference selection, and now Kenny Pridmore going to have a conversation with Crosby. Back to that Rocky Mount side of the bracket. Greensboro just pummeled Southern Virginia 14-2. So Southern Virginia and North Carolina Wesleyan is now underway. Greensboro will take on Wesleyan tomorrow afternoon, and Southern Virginia, you never want to guarantee things like this, but it seems like they might be a couple of hours away from their season being over. Tornadoes hoping that the same applies to the Monarchs here, who have the tying run aboard with nobody out in the 6th. Showing bunt here is Hartman. He gets it down. Vasquez, throw on to first, is in time for out number 1. Both runners move up, and Methodist has 2 men in scoring position Over on second, Holman, he represents the game-tying run, and Crosby going to have to dig deep here.
Now batting shortstop number 11.
He's got Caleb Rogers, who bunted his way aboard last time, grounded out back in the first. One away here. Corners in. Crosby misses with a curveball. Cale Ayler playing way in. Well past the cut of the grass. And that one's set back where it came from into center field. Clark comes up. He has it. Holman will stop at third. It's a 3-2 ball game. Now going to second is Rogers. There will be no throw. The go-ahead run is in scoring position for Methodist now. An RBI single that time for Caleb Rogers, and this one has gotten a bit more interesting here in the top of the sixth. Here's Brandon Mauger. A strikeout and a sacrifice fly in 2 trips for Mauger. Crosby's first pitch is a curveball that misses on the outside corner, and the umpire right now not giving Crosby that breaking ball at all. Got some motion in the tornado pen now. 1-0 from Crosby. On the outside corner for a strike. Count even at 1 apiece. That one misses. 2-1. '27 Matt Evans warming up in the bullpen for the Tornadoes. Crosby behind 2-1 here. Going to have to buckle down. Big wave and a miss there. That was an excuse me swing from Mauger. He got fooled well out in front of that one. Crosby could really use a K here. Has already got Mauger once. Going to try and do it again here on the 2-2. Crosby kicks and deals. That one is on the ground past the shortstop, Morton. Coming around third is Rogers. The throw to the plate is not in time. It gets past Kenny Pridmore. The throw, actually, correction, looked like it was in time, but it flew over the head off the bounce of Kenny Pridmore. Methodist takes the lead 4-3 here, and things are falling apart for Connor Crosby, who just continues to allow hard contact. A 2-run RBI single, tie being called here. We'll see if Victory pulls the plug or not with just 1 away. Don't think he's going to yank him quite yet. 84 pitches for Crosby following the RBI single from Mauger. And obviously got to be a really frustrating inning for Connor. Came in with a 3-1 lead, now trailing at 4-3. The good news, if you are the NATOs, is that Methodist doesn't have the world's most impressive bullpen. When you take a look at the guys that they do have.
Now batting third baseman number 6, Banks
Got
Engel.
Tanner Simpson with a 6.69 ERA, Brandon Humphreys with a 6.17 ERA, Jackson Kuhn with an 8.15 ERA. Crosby's first pitch here misses high to Banks Engel. Taking a look at some of these other names for Methodist. Bryce Herring, Chase Carroll, some of the better relievers on this squad. Chase Carroll actually first team all conference as Crosby misses there 2-0. And I think from watching up here, fatigue might be setting in for Connor Crosby after having not pitched since March 23rd. Now in his 6th inning of work, he's through 5 1/3. That one skied. Left side of the infield, Frankie camps out underneath and makes the grab for a big out number 2. Want to keep this one at 4-3
Now batting left fielder number 1.
and record this final out if you're Connor Crosby. Don't think at 87 pitches and after this inning, Crosby will be brought back out for a 7th. But if you can finish with 6 innings, 4 runs allowed, not a bad start at all considering how much time he missed as well. He gets one to drop in there for strike 1. The 0-1. Set the other way. Pyle makes the grab for out number 3. Green hits one the opposite way, but right to CP Pyle. But Methodist does push across 3 runs, and they now hold a 4-3 lead off of the RBI single from Brandon Mauger. NATO offense with some work to do, playing from behind for the first time in this one. When we get back, Ayler, Vasquez, and Pyle, the heart of the lineup, due up. Bottom 6, Cale Ayler is going to get things going for the NATOs. Frankie Vasquez and CP Pyle behind him. Anthony Sarbanes going to try and finish his 6th inning and then bow out more than likely at 87 pitches. NATO's going to try and get some things going and make sure he doesn't get out of this 6th. A big wave and a miss there from Ayler. Takes a look at the bat as if there's a hole in it. Sarbanes had him fooled. The 0-1. Big wave and a miss there from Ayler. Not quite able to time these Sarbanes deliveries up yet. He's behind 0-2. Cale is 0 for 2 in this one. Second team All-USA South first baseman. He takes outside there. Obviously, Cale's cold zone, so to speak, is that outside corner. Wonder if Sarbanes is going to target that here in a 1-2 count. Right-hander steps back and delivers. Ayler takes near his feet, 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes. Ayler, a tapper. Over to second, Mauger, an underhand toss to first in time to get Ayler for out number 1. Here's Frankie. He's 1 for 2 rather. Had a leadoff double back in the 4th. Looking to get something going on the base paths here. Trailing by a run. One away. That one way low and outside to Frankie. Pitch number 93 for Sarbanes, so depending on how long this at-bat goes, could be the final hitter for the right-handed starter of Methodist. That one fouled back, 1-1. Ball and a strike here to the NATO third baseman, who waves well ahead of that one and fouls it back 1-2. He's frustrated with himself. Frankie using a different bat than the first 2 times he came to the plate. Sarbanes ahead here, 1-2. Pitch number 96 coming. And now time called. Not sure if Vasquez or the home plate umpire wanted it. Regardless, it's granted. Now Sarbanes is good to go. The 1-2. Frankie skies it out of play on the left side. One-two to Vasquez. Breaking ball, fouled off. Little dribbler down the third base line, but to the left of the bag. Another 1-2 coming. Pitch number 97 for Sarbanes. Frankie, sharp grounder over to short, and it gets past Caleb Rogers. A one-out single for Vasquez, and the tying run is aboard here in the bottom of the sixth for CP Pyle, who singled his last time. Second base knock for Frankie Vasquez. Seventh hit of this one for the NATOs as a whole. Now Pyle going to try and move the line here. Frankie not really a threat to run. CP whacks one in the air, left field, coming on green, and he will make the grab for out number 2. One pitch, one out for Sarbanes. And with him at 98 pitches coming into that at bat, I would have made him play that one out if I were CP Pyle, but it'll be down to Colson Miller. Miller has singled and struck out. Frankie Vasquez over at first with 2 away. Bottom of the sixth, 4-3 Methodist lead. First pitch to Colson is outside for a ball. Kenny Pridmore on deck. Sarbanes holds on to it, does step off and act like he's going to throw to first, but does not. Frankie was already on the bag. Not a guy that's going to get a huge lead. 100 pitches for Sarbanes. Number 101 coming here to Colson Miller momentarily. And here it is. Strike. 1-1 to the right-handed designated hitter, Colson Miller. That one outside, 2-1. Miller, again, the 7 home runs. Not what you need right now necessarily, but obviously Tornadoes would take a go-ahead 2-run homer. Miller right now focusing on getting it to Kenny Pridmore. Takes in the dirt there, 3-1. Vasquez is going to get to second. Holman couldn't find it. Now he does. And if Miller can get a base hit, it will likely tie this one up now. 3 balls and a strike to the Tornado DH. $103 pitches for Anthony Sarbanes. And that one's popped up. Right side. Drifting and making the catch there is Banks Hartman for out number 3. A bad decision there by Colson Miller. And it cost the NATOs. They still trail at 4-3 as we head to the top of the 7th here at Gilcone Field. New pitcher in for the Tornadoes is going to be Matt Evans. Evans, one of the relievers with a bigger role on this team. 8 appearances for him. A lot of them coming later on in the season. 1-0 record. An ERA just north of 4.11. One of the lower figures in this bullpen group. Really on this staff as a whole for the Nados. Does struggle with walks at times. 8 strikeouts to 13 walks. Pitches to contact. Final line for Connor Crosby, 6 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs all earned with no walks, 2 strikeouts. Sarbanes, his day likely done as well at 100-plus pitches, 104 to be exact. And if it is the end of the line for him, both pitchers will finish at 6 innings. 3 runs for Sarbanes, 4 for Crosby. So Evans, the right-hander, now in to pitch with a pinch hitter for Methodist. It's Justin Blunt. Blunt, a 188 average, 6 for 32 on the year. But here he is now pinch hitting. Takes a strike. Swing and a miss there from Blunt. Batting in place of Jackson Kuhn, so likely that might be the next guy that we see come into pitch for the Monarchs. 0-2 from Evans. Just misses on the outside corner. Even Blunt froze up. I think he was worried that was going to be strike 3. But instead, just behind 1 and 2. That one's sent on the ground. Ranging to his left, Morton flashes a leather throw on a first just in time to retire Blunt. So no hit for the Blunt there. 4-3 ball game here. Blunt, rather. Not the Methodist with a 1-run lead as Austin Renzel steps to the box. He is 0 for 2. That one's in the dirt. Blunt was moving quickly down the first baseline. That was a nice play ranging to the left by Luke Morton with all of his momentum carrying away from the first base bag. Evans getting a nice contribution from his infield defense. As that one is going to roll fair past Frankie Vasquez, who was playing shaded towards shortstop, rounding second, and getting an easy double there will be Austin Renzel, his first base hit of the ball game. Another run in scoring position with just 1 away. And the lineup flips back over to Jackson Deal. Methodist, an interesting note on them. Obviously, they fell in 2 out of 3 to the Nados last time, but this is a squad that has been around for quite a long time in the USA South and has done a lot of winning as Deal takes strike 1 there. It's a crazy stat when you look at the teams that have won the USA South historically. Trying to get the note. Out of all USA South teams, and hold on, wait a minute, the umpire is conferring about something here with the Methodist third base coach. While they do that, we'll go ahead and give you this nugget. Out of all USA South teams, Methodist and Wesleyan have combined for 41 regular season titles after Wesleyan's regular season title this year, and 11 tournament titles in 88 years between those two squads. Everybody else, 0 regular season titles and 1 tournament title in 55 years, and that 1 title was Greensboro. So the 6 teams not named Methodist and Wesleyan have combined for 1 tournament title and 0 regular season titles. Methodist and Wesleyan historically have just ran this conference. NATO's trying to change that narrative, though, as they trail 4-3 in their opening postseason game. Evans ahead 0-1 here on Jackson Deal. That one misses low. The 1-1. Way inside to Deal, 2-1. Four 3, top of the 7th. Jackson Deal at the plate. Matt Evans going to play a game of deal or no deal. With a batter ahead 2-1 and a hitter's count. Evans' pitch is whacked in the air to right field. That's going to score another run. Pyle gets to it. Coming around to score is Renzel. It's 5-3 Methodist off of the RBI single from Jackson Deal. His 3rd base hit of this one, and a bit surprised that Methodist didn't use all of their offense in that first game where they plated 13 runs. But their offense has come alive here in the past couple of innings, 4 runs since the 6th. And now another discussion here between the Methodist third base coach and the home plate umpire. Not quite sure what the gripe is, if any. Really not seeing anything that would warrant a complaint.
Now batting, catcher number 5, Hunter Holman.
Here's Hunter Holman with 1 away and a runner on first. Already 1 run pushed across by Methodist in the top of the 7th. They lead at 5-3 off of their 10th base hit. Evans could use a ground ball. That one fouled back by Holman. He's reached base twice, a sacrifice bunt in the first and then a single and a hit by pitch. The 0-1. Misses, 1-1. NATO's digging into their bullpen here in the 7th inning. Matt Evans the first to come out of it. One. Misses low and outside, 2-1. And again, Evans, his Achilles heel is inconsistency finding the strike zone. 13 walks and 8 appearances for him. Obviously not the time for that. 2-1. Is sent right back up the middle. It'll only move Deal up a base. But another single here. 3 straight knocks off of Evans after retiring the leadoff hitter Justin Blunt. And it'll bring up Banks Hartman.
Batting first base number 36, Banks Hartman.
Hartman is 1 for 2. A ground out, a single, and a sac bunt. Evans cannot allow any more runs here. That one low and inside. Obviously, if you do fall in this one, if you're the Tornadoes, not the end of the world in a double elimination format, but does make things a lot more complicated. As that one is looped into left field for a base hit, it will score another run. Coming across is Holman, or Deal rather. Holman moves up to third. The throw into second, not in time. Methodist still with just 1 out. Has another run across. They lead at 6-3. More hard contact off of Matt Evans. A Banks Hartman double. And time will be called. Mike Victory going to come out and at least have a conversation with Evans, who has now allowed 4 straight base hits. It's a 6-3 ball game, and Methodist continuing to push out in front. They trailed it 3-1 entering the 6th. Since then, they've put up 5 unanswered, and they lead it 6-3 here. The NATO Bats have gone cold with just 1 run since the 2nd inning. Evans still talking to Evans, who will stay in this one. Kalen Milstead, a left-hander, warming up in the pen, and obviously the strategy seems clear here from Mike Victory, which is to not use the top-of-the-line relievers quite yet here in this first game.
Now batting shortstop number 11, Caleb Rogers.
Especially while trailing. You want to save those guys. Evans misses with his first pitch there. That's the other thing for Evans. He has consistently fallen behind on that first pitch to these batters and is paid for coming across the plate afterwards with 4 straight base knocks. The 1-0. Sent on the ground. Morton looks over at the runner, goes over to first for 1, and there's out number 2. Nobody comes across. Holman has to stay put, and Evans an out away from ending the top of the 7th.
Now batting second baseman number 19, Brandon Walker.
7th batter of the inning for Methodist is Brandon Mauger, who gave Methodist the lead with an RBI single last inning. Evans' first pitch to him nearly gets a piece of him. Does not, though. 1-0. The 1-0. Spiked, but Pridmore there to stop it. Mauger at the plate. Banks Angle on deck. He is 1 for 3. Mauger 1 for 2. Strikeout, a sac fly, and an RBI single. 3 runs driven in for him. The 2-0. Popped up. Pridmore under it, and he makes the grab for out number 3. Mauger can't capitalize with 2 in scoring position, but Methodist does push 2 more across. They're doubling up the NATO 6-3 right now. As we head to the 7th inning, time to stretch here at Gil-Cone Field. NATO's with some work to do on the offensive side of things. Home half of the 7th, and surprise, Anthony Sarbanes will stay in this ballgame. We do see some tossing going on in the Methodist bullpen, so not sure for how long, but they'll keep Sarbanes in for what will start as the bottom of this tornado lineup, and Kenny Pridmore and Logan Sawyer. Sarbanes at 104 pitches as we enter the bottom of the 7th. Here's Pridmore. He's 1 for 1. That one rolls all the way to the backstop. Not exactly inspiring confidence to keep him in too long after that pitch. But all in all, a really good outing so far. 6 innings, 3 runs allowed. 1 walk, 1 strikeout for Sarbanes as Pridmore takes ball 2. And that is one thing the NATOs have not had the most patient approach at the plate. They did in that first inning where they plated 2 runs. Since then, very aggressive and free swinging. It has not paid off for the most part. 2-0 to Pridmore in there for a strike. Pridmore, then Sawyer. 2-1. Nearly knocks Pridmore around. Instead, he gets out of the way. It's 3-1. An update on the other side of the bracket. North Carolina Wesleyan with a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the third over Southern Virginia. Over there, Southern Virginia with a loss is eliminated from the tournament. And the 3-1 is low and outside, so the leadoff man aboard, courtesy of a walk for Kenny Pridmore. NATO's trailing by 3. If Sawyer can get aboard here, it's 2 men on with the top of the lineup due up. 6-3 ball game. Sarbanes, a look back at first. A long pause. Now he comes home. Sawyer takes strike 1. Sawyer 0 for 2. He is popped out and fouled out in his 2 trips, looking for his first base hit here in the USA South Tournament. The 0-1. Showing bunt. He goes after it, doesn't pull back, and he's behind 0-2. He had plenty of time. That was a pretty easy read off the hand, but he never pulled it back. Might have thought he could have got a piece of it. Now he's behind 0-2. The 0-2. Low and outside. Same spot as that last pitch. .112 pitches for Sarbanes. Can't imagine him going too much longer, as that one nearly gets Sawyer. He does not move. I think that he was hoping it would get him. Instead, the count's even at 2. Methodist dugout wanted a strikeout for some reason. 2-2. Sawyer on the ground to the left side. It's knocked down. The throw on to second. What a play there by the shortstop, Caleb Rogers. That looked for sure like it was going to sneak through for a base hit. Instead, a fielder's choice. 6-4 for out number 1. 114 pitches now for Sarbanes as he goes to the top of the NATO order for the 4th time. One away. Logan Sawyer at first. Granada takes in the dirt for ball 1. NATO's have their work cut out for them here in these final 3 frames. Got to keep Methodist where they are at 6 runs and got to put some more across themselves, sitting at 3. The 1-0 on the outside corner for strike 1. Does seem like so far this frame the NATOs are taking a more selective approach at the plate, trying to get Sarbanes out of this game at 116 pitches. 1-0. In there for strike 2. Granada doesn't want these outside corner pitches, it seems. He's behind 1-2. Throw over to first. Sawyer in there without a dive. The 1-2. Granada chops it foul, and oh, there it is. Coach Huckey with the boot in foul territory. Won't give him too much of a hard time about it. He might smack me over the head with an Arnold Palmer can. But I did see that. I just wanted to know. The 1-2. Granada takes right at the letters for ball 2. Stone cold take there for Granada. Luke Morton waiting on deck. He's 1 for 3. Granada 0 for 2. Trying to get his first base knock in a big situation. The 2-2. Low and outside, 3-2. .119 pitches for Sarbanes. Number 120 coming here in just a moment. Here it is. Granada waves and misses. A big strike out there for Sarbanes. That was big. And Granada chased after it, too. That would have been ball 4. Would have put 2 on with 1 away. Instead, it's inverted. 1 on with 2 away. Luke Morton coming to the dish. I'll tell you what, head coach Tom Austin not worried about saving Sarbanes' arm. Paul Olive in the bullpen for Methodist. As Morton takes a ball. Gotta be Sarbanes' last hitter. Win, lose, or draw. But, you know, thought that last inning, too. Morton takes a strike there. We saw Paul Olive in that third game against the NATOs. He was the fifth pitcher used by Methodist in that one. 1-1 to Morton. Takes outside 2-1. At this rate, Methodist, the dugout trying to do their part and getting Sarbanes out of here. They're convinced that every pitch is a strike. Or at least trying to sell it as if they believe that. 2-1 to the NATO shortstop. In the air to center field. Coming underneath it, Renzel. And another 0 up on the board for the NATO's offense. They trail at 6-3 as we head to the top of the 8th. Top of the 8th, NATO's got to hold Methodist where they're at. 6-3 ball game. Tornadoes trailing after leading for the entirety of the first 5 innings. Methodist has exploded for 5 unanswered in the 6th and 7th. And the 8th will start with Banks Angle, who's 1 for 3. A double back in the 2nd. Popped out a couple times after that. This time he sends one in the air to deep center field. Clark retreating back on this one, but he will stop at the warning track and make the grab for out number 1. Angle got a pitch he could hit and drove it. Unfortunately for him, it was to the deepest part of the yard. 1 away for Caleb Green.
Now batting left fielder number 1, Caleb Green.
Green 0 for 3. He's hit into a double play as well as a ground out to third and a line out to right field. That line out got Tornadoes out of a jam back in the 6th. Evans misses for ball 1. And man, unless something crazy happens, you got to imagine that Sarbanes on the other side is done in this one after 7 innings and 120 plus pitches. Green in the air to center field. Clark retreating over his left shoulder. He makes the grab for out number 2. A couple of flyouts to Logan Clark here in the 8th. And here's Justin Blunt, who grounded out to short his first time.
Number 22, Justin Blunt.
Blunt not a big hitter for the Monarchs. A defensive speed replacement guy with a batting average under 200, and Evans plunks him. That one gets him in the head, and he's going to drop down to his knees and take a second to regroup. I don't blame him. It was a breaking pitch, but still got him in the head. And if you're the Tornadoes, no disrespect to Blunt, but don't want to put guys aboard for free with 188 batting averages. He's getting checked on. They'll make sure that he's good to run the bases. It looks like he will be. Or maybe not. And he is putting on his sliding mitt, so they might not need to keep him in this game. He might be a little disoriented. He walked 70% of the way to the dugout and then turned and hit a beeline to first base, and now he will be pinch ran for.
Now running at first base for Methodist.
Pinch runner is going to be number 2, Tristan Melvin. Melvin got the start in game 1. Guy that we saw the first series for the Monarchs. We'll see if he takes off with 2 away here, and Austin Renzel at the dish. Renzel 1 for 3. That knock did come in his last plate appearance in the 7th. It was a double with 1 away. That was actually what got the line of base hits going. A throwback over to first, not in time. 4 straight base hits for the Monarchs. Started off with that double from Renzel, the 9-hole hitter. Evans trying to end the top of the 8th here with 2 away and a man on first after the hit by pitch. Strike in there. Kalen Milstead back up warming again in that Tornado pen in case this inning extends much longer. Evans another throw to first. Melvin in with a dive. Evans another throw to first, and that one was a close play. Melvin in safely. Ayler applied the tag pretty well there. Melvin rolled safe, and we'll see if Evans focuses on the man at the plate here, Renzel. 0-1. Fouled back, 0-2. Natos have allowed 6 runs in this one. They do average 7.8 per game, though, so on a normal afternoon for the Natos, 6 would be plenty to win this one on the pitching front. The 0-2 is going to drop in foul ground. That one could have been trouble for the Natos, but it continued to tail off to the right. Renzel timed it up pretty well, but just a bit late. No balls and 2 strikes, 2 away. Here in the top of the 8th of a 6-3 ball game. Methodist is the lead. Healthy lead over at first by Tristan Melvin. And another throw to first. Not in time. Evans comes set. The 0-2. Runner goes. Poked at. Foul out of play. Evans still ahead 0-2 here, but Renzel getting the bat on it. See if he breaks him off with an off speed here. Runner goes again. That one is going to miss for a ball. Throw down to second, not in time. Pridmore with a pretty good throw on a bounce down to second. Melvin was able to get in under the tag from Sawyer. And now Methodist with the man in scoring position. Renzel still behind in a 1-2 count, though. It's a pretty good throw from Kenny. Pretty good pitch from Evans. The right-hander comes home with a 1-2. That one's poked to the right side for a base hit. Pyle coming up. Runner will hold up at third. Ayler will cut the throw off, and a 2-out knock for Renzel. Runners on the corners now, and it is absolutely imperative that Evans gets an out here against Deal, who's 3 for 4.
Now batting right fielder number 8, Jackson Deal.
Evans hitting the strike zone now pretty well. The problem is he's not fooling these Methodist hitters and isn't overpowering anybody. Runners on the corners with 2 away. Make or break here for Matt Evans in a 6-3 ball game. The pitch. Breaking ball misses high. Runner takes off for second, and now 2 in scoring position, and even more crucial now that Evans records an out. It's been a hard thing to do against Jackson Deal in this one. He's 3 for 4, all singles. The last one drove a run in the 7th. That one in the air, deep but foul. Methodist has scored in 3 of the last 4 innings prior to this 8th. That's where all 6 of their runs have come from. 5 in the last 2 frames. The 1-1. Sent on the ground. Sawyer, backhand play, he can't make it. Another run comes across for Methodist. That'll be an infield single, the 4th hit of the ball game for Jackson Deal, and Matt Evans just cannot finish off this 8th inning right now. Victory's going to come get him, and this could be it for him. Looks like we are going to get a new pitcher. That's going to be it for Matt Evans. 6 hits allowed in an inning and 2/3 for Matt Evans. And that is going to do it. Kalen Milstead coming in. More on him when we return here. 7-3 Methodist. New pitcher for the NATOs here in the top of the 8th with 2 away is Kalen Milstead. Milstead, a lefty freshman, 1-3 in 11 appearances, 18 strikeouts, 23 walks for him, and ERA just under 10 at 9.82. But all he needs to do is get 1 out here, at least as far as the 8th inning is concerned. We'll see if victory sticks with him in the 9th. But he'll have to retire Hunter Holman, an all-conference selection, who is 2 for 2. A sacrifice bunt and a hit by a pitch to go with 2 singles.
Now batting catcher number 5, Hunter Hall.
And he's faced lefties pretty much exclusively all day, aside from Evans, who he singled off of back in the 7th. Not Evans' finest day. An inning and 2/3, 6 hits. So far, 3 runs. And now heading to the plate and getting in safely is the runner at third. Austin Renzel gets there. The throw gets by Pridmore. And then Jackson Deal gets to third. Nato's just not paying attention at all. That kind of day for the Tornadoes. A double steal as well as an E1. And that is not the way that they drew it up. That is... I'll spare my words on what that is. So before Milstead even throws a pitch, Methodist with another run across, and they lead at 8-3. Renzel took off, and Milstead was thinking about something else. He misses there. No, he gets the outside corner. That's not heads-up baseball by the Tornadoes there, and I understand a freshman just came in. You're not worried about a steal of home, but Methodist taking advantage of that as this one is blocked by Pridmore 1-1. Natos have let this one get away from them. 7 runs in the last 3 innings for Methodist, who have their backs against the wall after losing their first game, and they've played like a team that has their backs against the wall. The Natos have played like a team that thinks they have more games to play with. That one's fouled off down the left side, 1-2. And that's just as blunt of a description as I know to put it. A ball and 2 strikes, 2 away. Pitch from Milstead. Swing and a miss. Milstead got him swinging. The steal of home gets another run. 2 across in the inning for Methodist, and they lead at 8-3 as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Nato offense is going to have to get something going. They've got the heart of the order up with Clark, Ayler, and Vasquez. New pitcher in for the Methodist Monarchs is number 12, Paul Olive, who we saw in Game 3 against the Tornadoes. Olive, a sophomore pitcher. And as a matter of fact, that outing against Brevard was not too long ago, where he went an inning and 2/3 with 2 runs allowed, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, did allow a triple, a couple of wild pitches for him. Since then, a third of an inning against Wesleyan, an inning against Wesleyan, an inning against Guilford, and an inning and a third against Pfeiffer. And that outing against Pfeiffer back on April 20th was the last time that Olive has pitched. So nearly 2 weeks since Olive has been on the bump. We'll see how sharp he is as he faces off against Logan Clark, who takes a ball upstairs. The 1-0 misses upstairs. 2-0 here to the NATO center fielder. Is on the outside corner for a strike. Hitters count here for Clark, who's 1 for 3. NATO's got to get a rally going here in the 8th. You can't get it all in the 9th. And Clark gets it started with a base hit in a right field. He'll take the turn around first and stop. A leadoff single for the Tornado center fielder. Hopefully a sign of things to come with the NATO's trailing by 5. Ayler to the plate. He's 0 for 2. Does have a sacrifice fly back in the first. 3 plate appearances, no base knocks. He shows bunt, pulls it back, and takes ball 1. Down by 5. I can't imagine that Cale Ayler is actually planning on bunting here. And if he is, that's a questionable decision at best from number 26 with the power that he has. Don't want to put the ball on the ground, though, at the same time. 1-0. In the air, center field. Drifting back should be a can of corn for Renzel. It is. Out number 1, Clark fakes the tag and quickly retreats. Cale getting a lot of loft on the ball here in this one, but nothing to show for it. So there's out number 1 as Vasquez comes to the dish. Frankie is 2 for 3. Had a single his last trip back in the 6th. Facing off against the righty Olive. First pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Vasquez thought it was a bit outside. Methodist trying to stave off elimination after the loss earlier. The 0-1. In the dirt, blocked by Holman. Clark not going anywhere. Final line for Anthony Sarbanes, the Methodist starter. 7 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs. All earned, 2 walks and 2 strikeouts for him. 125 pitches as well. 0-1 to Frankie. Is hit in the air to left field. That one is going to be caught. Just brought in by the left fielder, Green. That nearly snuck out of his glove. Vasquez got a good part of it. It hung up just a bit too long. And what can you say other than it's just that kind of afternoon for the Tornadoes?
Now batting for the Tornadoes, right fielder number 49, C.P.
After a leadoff single from Logan Clark, Ayler and Vasquez, the 2 all-conference hitters for the Tornadoes, have been retired. And C.P. Pyle will be up with 2 down. Breaking ball drops in there for a strike. Olive not showing any signs of rust. The 0-1. Nearly gets a piece of CP Pyle. He gets out of the way. Again, don't know what this Methodist dugout is clamoring for on these pitches that almost hit batters, acting like they want them to be strikes. Done that multiple times here in this one. 1-1 from Olive. Clark takes off to second. Holman's throw is not in time. Really delayed call there from the field umpire, but Clark's able to get in there safely. And hopefully CP Pyle can find a hole here so NATOs can at least plate one across. 3 straight frames without a run for the NATOs. Have not scored since a sacrifice fly back in the 4th. Olive takes a look back. Now the 1-2. Breaking ball misses outside. Another one that misses that Methodist swears is in the zone. Not the greatest knowledge of the strike zone in that dugout, it seems. Tom Austin especially. 2-2. Misses high, gets to the backstop. Clark going to be able to jog over to third. A wild pitch from Olive. Surprised Tom Austin didn't think that one was a strike. The count full, though. CP Pyle trying to find a way to push Logan Clark across here in an 8-3 ball game. Olive, payoff pitch. Breaking ball is going to be caught by Renzel. He was playing in. He came up and made a sliding grab. That will do it for the 8th. The NATOs once again with a 0 on the scoreboard, and things getting pretty dire here in the NATO's first game of the tournament. 8-3 as we head to the top of the 9th. Top of the 9th, NATO's trailing it by 5. Going to try and hold Methodist offense here to have a chance, however big of a chance that is, in the bottom of the 9th. We've seen the NATO offense make some late game crazy comebacks before, so Kalen Milstead going to try and keep it where it is here in the 9th. After coming in and recording the final out of the 8th with a strikeout of Hunter Holman, he faces Banks Hartman. Hartman 2 for 3. That one misses outside, 1-1. Ball and a strike. This one sent over the head of Milstead, and it is bobbled by Sawyer. It was going to be a tough play. It'll be an infield single. Milstead not quite quick enough reacting to that one. And so here's Rogers. Rogers is 2 for 4. Couple of singles, one of them a bunt single, one of them an RBI single. Shows bunt, chases after it, pulls back though, 1-0. Ran down the line, kind of a slap bunt attempt there. But again, did pull back. Milstead, the 1-0. Misses inside, 2-0. So if this one does stand, the NATOs will take on Pfeiffer tomorrow afternoon, likely with Jacob Thompson on the hill. And if they did get the victory in that one, each team would have one loss in the bracket. Milstead a throw over to first. In without a dive is Hartman. Milstead, the 2-0. Showing bunt, pulling back, and taking ball 3 there is Rogers. Milstead consistently hitting that part of the zone, that glove side outer part, which is an inside pitch here to the right-handed batter, Rogers. Now the 3-0. It's the outside corner for strike 1. Three one. Fouled off, 3-2. Aaron Burchett warming up in the pen for the NATOs. Milstead, payoff pitch. Inside, ball 4. So the first 2 are aboard here in the 9th for Methodist, and not at all what you want to see if you're the NATOs, already trailing by 5. Here's the 5-hole hitter, Brandon Mauger.
Now batting second baseman number 19, Brandon Mauger.
Mauger 1 for 3. Burchett still warming up in there. Looks like he's ready to go. Another show of bunt here, and Milstead missing. I think Milstead's getting thrown off by these fake bunt attempts. He's got to just lock in on Kenny Pridmore. The 1-0. Again missing on the fake bunt attempt. Milstead has got to stop worrying about that and just find the mitt. Otherwise, it's going to be bases loaded or worse for Methodist here shortly. He has a chat with Kenny Pridmore now at the hill, maybe to buy some more time for Burchett. We did have confirmation radioed up here that he was ready. Once again told that he's ready up here a couple of times. Milstead behind 2-0 here. Got to find something against the right-handed hitter Mauger. Milstead wheels and throws to second. Nobody was even covering the base. He had to throw to Morton, who was to the left of the bag. And just a weird game here for the NATOs, especially over these last couple of innings. Have not put a 0 on the board pitching to Methodist since the 5th, as that one's fouled back. Methodist, the 3 seed in this tournament, and NATO's the 2. Two fairly evenly matched teams. If Methodist does get this victory, they will have split the first 4 between each other. To be determined if they would see each other a 5th time. 2-1. Inside, 3-1. Milstead just consistently missing glove side. Three and 1, 2-1, and Milstead in danger of loading the bases. He does just that. Back-to-back walks, and the bases are loaded with nobody out here in the 9th. That's going to be it for Kalen Milstead. Aaron Burchett coming in. And more on him in just a moment. At least I do believe that that's going to be it for Milstead. And yes, here comes Burchett. 8-3 ball game with nobody out and the bases loaded in the top of the 9th. New pitcher here for the NATOs, coming in with the bases loaded and nobody out. A tough task for Aaron Burchett. No record for him in 8 appearances. 10 strikeouts, 5 walks, and ERA just under 6. Earlier this season, did take home USA South Rookie Pitcher of the Week honors. So some potential we've seen from the right-hander. He has a whip, a little bit under 2. Burchett, as we've mentioned before on here when he's come in, the third in the line of Burchett boys to come through Brevard. Blake and Brett, both pretty decorated Tornado alumni. Now Aaron, in his first year with the team as a freshman, here in a tough spot with the bases juiced and nobody out after Kalen Milstead gives up an infield single and back-to-back walks.
Now batting third baseman number 6, Banks Angle.
Milstead struggled with walks all regular season, 23 of them in 11 appearances, and the free passes came back to bite him again here. Short outing for him, only 4 batters faced. Got a strikeout to end the 8th, and then these 3 in this one as Burchett has Banks Angle out in front of that pitch. Nothing pushed across yet, but Methodist is threatening. The infield is in for the NATOs. 0-1, chopped, foul down the third base line. And if Burchett could get a strikeout, would be a big, big out number 1 for the Tornadoes with him coming out of the pen. Burchett, the 0-2. Got him looking. Big strikeout there for Burchett. And if he could get a ground ball here of Caleb Green, it could keep Methodist scoreless. Infield going to stay in. Morton was shifting back towards the back of the dirt. Not sure he agrees with playing in. Kind of shook his head a little bit. I think he wanted to have a bit more depth with a right-handed hitter at the plate, but NATO infield all playing in here as Green takes strike 1 in the outside corner. Burchett looking sharp his first couple of pitches. Got a 3-pitch strikeout of Angle. Only the 4th strikeout by Tornado pitching all game. The 0-1 is lined right to Sawyer. No one going anywhere. He was looking to see if he could get a double play. Good reaction time there. And Burchett is an out away from stranding all 3 Methodist runners. So Justin Blunt will stay in this game. He did exit for a pinch runner after being hit in the head, but it was an injury substitution, so he's allowed to stay in as a batter here with 2 down. Batting average of 188 for him, and he takes strike 1. Burchett, a golden opportunity to keep this one at 8-3, which seemed impossible just a moment ago. A base hit likely does plate 2 more, though, and puts this one pretty out of reach, as that one blocked by Pridmore 1-1. You want to take care of Blunt here, not have to see Austin Renzel, because A, that means more runs came across, and B, Renzel has a base hit both of his last 2 trips. The 1-1 misses outside, 2-1. And again, no disrespect to Blunt, but you got to go at this guy. He's got a sub 200 batting average. If he gets a hit, tip your cap. That one's low, 3-1. You got to go at him. Do not want to put aboard for free a guy with a 188 average. 3-1. In there for a strike. About an inch lower, and they would have done just that. Instead, the count runs full. Burchett, biggest pitch for him. Payoff. Misses, ball 4. A bases loaded walk. And once again, for some reason, the Tornadoes put aboard the guy that is below the Mendoza line. For the 2nd time in a row.
Now batting center fielder number 17, Austin Renzel.
So here's Renzel, who has a double and a single his last 2 trips, hits 9-3. And now Burchett finds the strike zone, strike one. Owen fouled off. 0-2 here to Renzel. Burchett ahead 0-2 here. That one's in the dirt. Good block by Pridmore, who's done some really good work behind the dish to save a couple of runs all afternoon. Top of the ninth, 9-3 ball game. The 1-2 misses, 2-2. Burchett just needs to find a way to get one more strike or one more out, whichever one comes first. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. 9-3 ball game. The pitch. Got him looking. Burchett rings him up and gets the out. The Natos do allow the 1 run to come across on a bases-loaded walk. They trail by 6 as we head to the bottom of the ninth. Bottom 3 in the order due up. Miller, Pridmore, and Sawyer. Last chance for the Tornado Bats here in their first game of the tournament. Bottom of the ninth. Colson Miller is going to start things off with the Natos trailing by 6. Going to need a heck of a comeback effort here to salvage this one as Miller takes strike 1 from Paul Olive. Methodist has done themselves quite a service here by only having to use the 2 pitchers, Sarbanes through 7 and Paul Olive here trying to close things out. Second one used by Methodist. Big hack and a miss there from Miller. And if the Natos want any chance here in the ninth, likely have to get this leadoff man aboard. But Miller behind 0-2. Pitch from Olive. Taken outside, 1-2. Methodist looking to stay alive here in this tournament after losing their first game to Pfeiffer. Fouled off there by Miller. 22 runs over 18 innings for the Methodist offense. They allowed 14 runs to Pfeiffer. Only the 3 here for the Natos. A lot of zeros up on that board. And the big thing for Methodist, they got much better as the game went on. They scored in each of the last 4 innings and 5 of the last 6. Miller takes upstairs, 2-2. Colson 1 for 3, a single with a strikeout and a fly, or a foul out rather. Two. Breaking ball misses there, and the count runs full. Olive trying to put Miller away here, who was down 0-2. Shakes off his catcher. Now he likes the call. Payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball got Miller there, his second strikeout of the game. Only the 3rd Tornado strikeout at the plate. Here's Pridmore with 1 away. Kenny 1 for 1, a single, a sac fly, and a walk in 3 plate appearances. On deck is Logan Sawyer, who's 0 for 3. One away and the base is empty here in the bottom of the 9th of a 9-3 ball game. Pridmore takes strike 1. So the NATOs looking like they're going to fall in this one. They will have tentative first pitch of 12 o'clock tomorrow here in this same spot, this time against the Pfeiffer Falcons, who they took 2 out of 3 from on the road earlier this year. Pridmore sends one on the ground. Throw on to first is in the dirt and not knocked down. An E5 on Banks' angle there puts a runner aboard for the NATOs. An error.
Now batting for the Tornadoes, second baseman number 9, Logan Sawyer.
That puts a man aboard here. Pridmore on first. He's been on base all 4 times he's come to the plate. Sawyer with 1 away now. Pitch from Olive is right down the pipe for strike 1. Olive, a look back at first. Pridmore not a threat to steal. Now the 0-1. Low and outside, 1-1. Methodist 2 outs away from securing this victory and staying alive in the USA South tournament. 1-1. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Sawyer didn't like it, and now he's behind 1-2. One and two. The pitch. On the ground. To second. For 1. On to first. Not in time, and it gets away. Sawyer, who did not have a chance to take second. That one was backed up. So fielder's choice. And now a pinch hitter, Easton King, going to come in for Lucas Granada.
For the Tornadoes, number 14, Easton King.
Victory wants to see what King's got here in a late game spot, down by 6 with 2 away. King batting from the left side, and just a disappointing effort all around for the Tornadoes here in the opening game of the USA South tournament, especially as hosts. But you never know, though. That one misses high and outside. Last year, the Tornadoes were on the road and won both of their first 2 tournament games, and then were not able to close things out. So maybe the opposite will happen here at Gil Cone Field. Still plenty of baseball left to be played. NATO's guaranteed at least 9 more innings after this, as that one's in there for a strike. Pretty improbable that we see a NATO comeback, though, with 2 down, trailing by 6. NATO's put across 2 in the first. Got a run on a sacrifice fly in the 4th. Nothing aside from that. 1-1 is chopped foul, and the NATOs now down to their last strike. Olive trying to close things out. 1-2 to King. Swing and a miss. Set down on strikes, and that's going to do it. The NATOs fall 9-3. Methodist stays alive here in the USA South tournament. A disappointing day on all fronts for the NATOs. They'll be back at it here in relatively short order. 12 o'clock here, tentative first pitch time against the Pfeiffer Falcons. Loser is done for the year. The winner continues and draws Methodist once again. We will be back in just a moment for final stats, thoughts, and recap here from Gilcone Field. NATO's falling in this one. Final score here from Gilcone Field, 9-3. Methodist getting the victory. For Methodist, 9 runs, 15 hits, 1 error, 9 left on base. For the NATOs, just 3 runs, 8 hits, an error, and 6 left on base. Anthony Sarbanes gets the victory in this one. 7 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs for him with a pair of walks and strikeouts. Connor Crosby, the losing pitcher, in his first outing since mid-March, he went 6 innings, allowed 8 hits, 4 runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts, and not a bad line at all for Crosby. Certainly not his fault that the Tornadoes were not able to pull this one out. After Crosby, Evans came in, and that was really where Methodist started to hit the ball really well. Evans went an inning and 2/3, allowed 6 hits, 4 runs came across off of him. After that, it was Milstead who went a third of an inning, got a strikeout to end the 8th, and then came in, allowed a base hit and a couple of walks, which one of those base runners scored off of Aaron Burchett, so that run was charged to Milstead, who had 2 walks and a strikeout. Burchett went an inning, came into the bases loaded and nobody out, allowed just the 1 run that was not charged to him, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. And the only other Methodist pitcher was Paul Olive, who came in for the final 2 frames, allowed 1 hit, no runs, and struck out a pair. Batting-wise, Jackson Deal, the leadoff hitter for Methodist, went 4 for 5, all singles. Hunter Holman, 2 for 3. Banks Hartman, 3 for 4. So combined, 9 for 12 from hitters 1 through 3 in the Methodist order. Caleb Rogers, 2 for 4. And Austin Renzel in that 9 spot had a couple of base hits as well. For the NATOs, Lucas Granada went 0 for 3. Luke Morton 1 for 4. Logan Clark had a pair of base hits. He was 2 for 4. Cale Ayler with an 0 for performance. Frankie Vasquez 2 for 4. CP Pyle and Colson Miller both 1 for 4. Kenny Pridmore was 1 for 2. Reached base quite often in this one. Logan Sawyer 0 for 4 himself. The NATOs fall in this one 9-3. They'll be back at it here tomorrow against Pfeiffer at 12 o'clock. And just one quick update on the other side of the bracket, North Carolina Wesleyan up 10-0 on Southern Virginia in the top of the 6 over in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. So Southern Virginia looking like they're going to be sent home here in really short order. Tornadoes falling in this one, going to look to get back in the saddle tomorrow afternoon against Pfeiffer. Otherwise, their season is over. I am Brady Penn. Until next time, saying, let's go NATOs.